everybody, I'm Pixel, and this is Chrysalis Studios. Woo! Today, we'll be talking about insulation, so we stay warm, we don't have to get all fluffy and stuff. Cool, thanks, bud.
Well, yeah, as Pixel said, we're talking about insulation in this video, which was very important for us to do well because we came to Colorado first in the winter. Everybody said, don't live in Colorado in the winter in a van. Don't do it. Just don't. And we were like...
Yeah, whatever. We came here to live in the winter. And it's cold. Insulate based upon what you can afford to do. We went the max for our budget.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, you can get like crazy like wool insulation, or like they have this stuff called Thinsulate made by 3M, and it's like it's not affordable at all, but it's supposed to be like super organic and sustainable and warm. But we definitely made insulation a priority. So
yeah, so the first thing we put on the walls were these kill mat sound deadening stuff, and so that just helped a lot with not only road noise, like the van itself rattling when we go down the road, but also with us blasting music in here, you can't hear it outside. So yeah, kind of just like cut these pieces to fit and glued them on. This was a pretty slow and steady process. It's a lot of spots to fill.
yep, and that's just like what is it? EPS Foam Board Insulation. It has like a decent R value per inch. I think those are just 1-inch pieces. It's pretty easy to cut, but very messy. So the less cut you make, the less mess you have to clean up.
It's hard to tell where to cut.
What is that?
You gotta stop and drop when the drop hits. And then once we got those pieces up, we filled the cracks of all the insulation with great stuff. Foam insulation.
What?
Are you about to say something?
No, but I can.
Okay.
So the van had these like plastic coverings on the doors just to house like different lighting access, but honestly it was just dead airspace where we could lose a bunch of warmth. So we took them off. We intended to put them back on, but they didn't.
I kind of demolished them.
Yeah.
We stuffed fiberglass insulation into all the cracks of the door, all the dead airspace we could find.
Yeah, wear gloves when using the fiberglass insulation and probably a mask.
This stuff feels harmless at first, but
It's just like it gets stuck in your hands.
yeah, like it's been like rubbing on my arms, and I'm like, why am I itchy?
Supposedly it's not the best to use because you could be breathing in fiberglass in the van, but we don't have any exposed material, and it does pretty good with mold and moisture, where some of the other ones do not.
Okay, guys, don't recommend at all to use, what is this? Roof cement as an adhesive to put up your insulation, especially in a faulty substance squeezer. This just looks like a abstract painting.
Safety glasses are not required. I just found them after a few days of looking for them, and they're very clear.
And you just wanted to look extra cool, huh?
Exactly.
Okay, well, Weston got out much more bigger and concise globs. You can see each of our individual style. Like Weston goes for a little bit more minimalist approach.
Oh my gosh.
I go for a little more of a,
I'm very impressionistic.
yeah, more of a splatter technique. We'll see which end sticks best. So, roof cement doesn't work at all. So we're going the old-fashioned way, good old tape. See, we just covered all the wall space with the foam board and then the fiberglass insulation. Oh, this insulation has a paper flap you can fold up and tape it down with. Yeah. Stuff the fiberglass into all of the little cracks all over. And then any exposed fiberglass insulation where it was like air space, we just put Reflectix over that. And Reflectix doesn't really work by itself as an insulation, but if there is an air gap, it works really well for reflecting stuff back out or keeping heat in.
Yep. Radiant heat transfer.
Beautiful.
Window coverings. So we bought a whole butt ton of Reflectix with the intention of using them as window coverings. And yeah, that's what we did. You just cut them to shape, and some of them we adhere with Velcro on the edges, and the front windows they kind of just stuff into place. But yeah, it helps with radiant heat, keeps a good air barrier.
One thing we noticed on some of the colder nights is you could just feel the heat being sucked out through the window. So we put that up on the extra cold nights, and that just keeps, when we run our heater inside the van, it really keeps the heat in there for longer. Doesn't let it escape.
Yep.
And we'll usually, when we run our heater, we'll crack a window but have the Reflectix over it, so that way we can still get some airflow and not die.
Yep.
But not lose all the heat.
And they're good for like privacy.
Yeah.
It's like we have curtains in the front that kind of block out the view from the front windows, but at nighttime, if we have the lights on, you can see everything in the van, even though our windows are tinted from the outside. So we put those up if we're, like, I don't know, just somewhere public-ish.
Well, yeah. I guess that's really all there is to it with insulation.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go, depending on where you're going to take your vehicle. If you're going to be in Texas, you may not need any insulation, because...
Unless you're going to be running an AC and want to keep it in.
Unless you want to keep it cool, and then you do an insulation. There's a ton of options. Glad we could show you some of the ones that we used. It's not a hard process, but it definitely takes a while. But
This was definitely what I think we spent the most amount of days consecutively working on. I think it took like 5 days to insulate everything.
Yeah. They say like insulation, you're as good as it's as good as your weakest link. So if you have any like exposed metal, or like, you're gonna physically notice that you're losing heat or losing cold air from that spot. So just keep that in mind. Have fun, be safe, wear gloves.
Well, yeah, our next video we cover our insulation with our wall panels.
Made it our own, and we were on a shorter schedule, so we just busted it out and made them. So we'll go over that in the next video.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Peace.
Peace.